Welcome to the 2021 Economic and Preparation Channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me on this Tuesday edition, August 3rd, 2021. And it seems that things are becoming more and more abnormal by the week. Today, we received word that the household debt has jumped by the most 14 years to nearly $15 trillion in the second quarter. And the dollar has become the weakest as it ever been. At any time, the value of the dollar and the dollar index has been falling against the euro and against the yen and even against the sterling pound. This is all a sign of heavy debt leveraging. Loan balances, mortgage originations have totaled 4.6 trillion, amounting to 44% of all loan balances. So we have household debt rising, as you can see here, both household debt and commercial debt rising to unbearable levels. We have inflation kind of moderately stabilizing now. It's still around 5.3%, but it's stabilizing. But one thing interesting now, they're saying they're going to start a new eviction moratorium for some of the states. President Biden says he wants to start a new extension to the moratorium based on COVID hotspots. And basically the most populated areas that have the higher COVID rates, like New York or Texas, Florida, Illinois, etc., they will get more extension relief, quote unquote, versus a state like Mississippi or a Alabama or a Iowa or Kansas type of deal, where they don't have as much population, and they're not considered a COVID hotspot right now for this Delta variant that's been going around. So this is going to put a strain on the economy. And this is not counting the lockdown that they're anticipating locking down this economy again sometime after September. Could be October, could be next year, January 2022, but definitely before 2022. I believe a lockdown is coming because states are going to be hard pressed and small businesses and private sector are going to be hard pressed not to agree with everything that's going on, even with the mask mandates and the vaccination rates climbing and all this stuff. It's just not going to be enough to pull us out of the hole that we're in. And so the more and more the government prints money, the more and more the government spends money on all of these projects, the more money we're gonna see in government wastefulness and everything. And the labor force is missing. As we reported yesterday, 7 million people have been missing from the labor force. And the speed of the recovery depends on millions of people going back to work. As you know, a lot of people have been working from home or working remotely or teleworking, as they like to call it. And that will continue through 2023 at least. But the question is that millions of the furloughed workers, where are they going to work at? You know, there's only so many jobs to go around. After the Great Recession of 2008, 2009, it took almost a decade for that to happen, for the labor force, that is, to return to normal. Fed economists suggest. Now, this could take even longer. We're talking 10 to 15 to 20 years for this recovery to happen fully, because this is a worldwide event, with the United States leading the way into this worldwide depression. And we're going to be more severely impacted by it because our labor force never recovered. They keep saying there's a shortage of workers. Everywhere you go, you see these signs now hiring, from Ross stores, the TJ Maxx stores, the gas stations, Wawa's, and all these other gas stations and convenience stores, 7-Elevens, to retail malls, saying they're hiring. Everybody's saying there's a shortage of workers, but at the same time, people are not. Why would you come back to work when, first of all, you could risk getting this infection? Second of all, you're not getting paid a livable wage, and that's been the case for the last 25 years for most Americans. Even those middle class Americans are not really getting paid a livable wage. We're getting more of a kind of a subsistence wage, to hold us over. But the thing that remains is that what are they going to do? What are we going to do in this country when we have 9.5 million people still unemployed as of June? Shadowstats.com was reporting that we still have about 20 million people that's really underemployed as of June. What are we going to do when these, even if the moratoriums do get extended throughout the end of the year, beyond September 30th of this year? How are we going to handle that? In addition to trying to fight this pandemic, because they're going to come out with another variant once Delta expires its course. Then there's going to be another variant, Epsilon, or whatever you want to call it, Echo variant or something else. And this is just going to go on and on. This is a slippery slope. This is setting a dangerous precedent for the majority of states when you have businesses now saying that they're not going to serve you if you don't wear a mask, even if you're vaccinated. So you're taking your shot, you've done everything you're supposed to do, and it's just going to become a slippery slope, not just for businesses. They're going to start discriminating on who's hiring. You got to show your vaccination passport to everybody. And all this used to be HIPAA violations and private stuff. Now it's not. Now it's either you do this or you don't get food. You do this, you can't go into businesses. You do this, you can't get served. When did we become such a non-tolerant nation? And I'm saying this to both sides. I can see those who are unvaxxed. I can see those who are vaxxed. The reasons and all of that. But from an economic standpoint, this is just going to be an absolute killer disaster because companies are spending money that they don't have, and companies and business, some private sector businesses and some government cities and states have been wasting money. Did you know that only 6 million of the 49 million approved for the landlords? They were telling you guys about the eviction moratorium. The government sent money to help them be able to sustain themselves while they weren't getting rent money. Well, only 6 million of the 49 million, 6 billion of the 49 billion has been distributed to the landlords. So the rest of the money is still hung up in bureaucracy and a bunch of other factors. So this is what's going to happen to this infrastructure bill that we may see passed when they come back from vacation. Congress come back from vacation in September. A lot of that $550 billion money is not going to be going to infrastructure. It's going to be going to a lot of wasteful spending. And what good, anyway, in the meantime, what good is going to be a new road or a bridge or a railroad, a high-speed rail, if half the people in our country are not working at all, and only the rich, super, super rich, the top 1% can afford to do all this space travel and all of these, spend time at these luxury remodeled airports and shipping ports and all of that. So that's going to be the irony of it. We're going to have a brand new infrastructure in 20 years, but only the select few are going to be able to enjoy it. And also, as we move toward a digital world, guys, you can imagine, this cashless society. New York mandates vaccinations. Like I said, they mandate the vaccination, which is fine. No, I have no problem with Mayor Bill de Blasio doing that. But can you imagine the economic impact on this? Okay, economic impact of restaurants and gyms and other indoor venues having to convert their spaces to be able to accommodate this. This is going to be a killer to the New York economy, a killer to a bunch of economies. And 66% of adults in New York are fully vaccinated. That's cool. That's great. That's awesome. But the thing is, this is going to be a slippery slope. Vaccines and masks are not going to be enough to stop this depression, even if we're never going to get out of it, because just like this debt load that we carry around, we're never going to get out of it. It is too much to overcome. And so once the Great Reset happens, which you all know is going to be happening it's in the process of happening, but it's going to get really started next year, really in earnest. There's going to become a lot of conscientious decisions that's going to have to be made in terms of where people are going to be living, where people are going to be working, and a bunch of other things, because this is what the decision is going to be made. The have and the have-nots is the battle that is at the forefront, and all of the other sideshows that's going on, it's just sideshows, but this is the venue. So the thing that I want to say lastly is that this debt that we've experienced has been accumulated over time. Just like depressions happen over time in the business cycle, you go up and then you flatline and then you go down. Right now we're in that treading water stage, and we're getting ready to head over the roller coaster and down that big long valley drop. And no one knows the exact date or time, just like no one knows the exact date or time that our Lord is going to return to take us back home. But we know that he is on the way, okay? And we also know that this depression is on the way. So get prepared now. Stay prepared. If you need to continue to reduce some of your household expenses and cut back on things that you may or may not need, and just continue to use that, put that toward preparations, either physically, digitally preparations, or mentally, or even spiritual preparations, because that's going to be absolutely crucial to get us through this next couple of these next 2 years here as we go through transition to the Great Reset. Be strong, continue to be blessed. I will talk to you very soon. We're going to have a couple of meeting minutes coming up later on this week about the interest rates and about how the economy how the automation and robotics sector is going to be playing a part in this infrastructure bill if it gets passed in the next couple of weeks here by both Congress, House, and Senate. There, both houses. So be safe. I'll talk to you very soon. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.